There's a clash in Huntington Beach after a White Lives Matter rally. David Hogg drops out of the Good Pillow project, and Prince Phillips dies. This is your April 12th Not So News update. Please like and subscribe if you're looking for daily news content, and let's dive on in. Starting us off from KTLA 5, which is LA's news station. Police declare unlawful assembly at site of White Lives Matter rally in Huntington Beach as tensions flare. This notably got a lot of attention on Twitter. Specifically, there was a White Lives Matter rally that was quote-unquote sponsored by the Klan. Obviously, it's a bit also of attention as Trump is famously in the area. And I think this really just, as a story, shows the vast separation our country currently has, where people are coming, out of state to counter a counter protest, people coming into the state to protest to begin with. In general, I think it's just a mess altogether, but let's read the article. Huntington Beach police declared an unlawful assembly Sunday afternoon around the city's famous pier as tensions increased among protesters who clashed with Donald Trump supporters and others displaying allegiance to white supremacist groups. Several hundred people gathered in the plaza area at the base of the pier beginning Sunday morning to demonstrate against the so-called White Lives Matter rally that was set to start at 1 p.m. Police officers stood at the edges of the pier plaza as helicopters and drones circled it overhead. But by 2:30 p.m., police had declared the gathering an unlawful assembly and directed everyone to disperse as tensions heated up among rival demonstrators. Authorities also sent an alert to people's cell phones in the area, ordering them to leave or face arrest. The protest, which began around 11 a.m., started out peacefully. No large cohorts of people who were expected to attend the scheduled white supremacy rally were present at the pier by Sunday afternoon. However, as the day went on and the crowd swelled, small confrontations between individual attendees, Trump supporters, and counter-protesters broke out along the Pacific Coast Highway and Main Street. Some traded punches while others threw verbal jabs within inches of each other's faces. In general, I think this just shows the lack of one being able to peacefully assemble. We know that the standard for any type of demonstration is that it remains peaceful, and that goes for both protests as well as counter protests. Oftentimes, we say that, you'll hear about how Antifa says that, you punch fascists in the face, and you hear the same violent rhetoric coming from the right against to Antifa. In general, I think this just shows the need for separation in the country. Next, David Hogg went on a Twitter escapade about why he was dropping out of the pillow business. That's starting us off from the Washington Examiner. Liberal activist and entrepreneur David Hogg announced he has left Good Pillow, the progressive pillow company he started to compete with Mike Lindell's MyPillow. A couple of weeks ago, a very spontaneous interaction over Twitter between me and William Legate led us trying to start a progressive pillow company, he tweeted. The goal was and still is to create a great pillow that is sustainably produced in domestic unionized factories and have a percentage of those profits benefit progressive social causes. I think really the big issue we see here is what happens when a couple of people get drunk and come up with an idea on Twitter rather than actually thinking out a genuine business plan. Looking at his actual post, he stated the following on April 10th. A couple of weeks ago, a very spontaneous interaction over Twitter between me and William Legate led us trying to start a progressive pillow company. The goal was and still is to create a great pillow that is sustainably produced in domestic unionized factories and have a percentage of those profits benefit progressive social causes. We were met with immediate and overwhelming support, but I soon realized that given my activism, schoolwork, and family commitments, I could not give 100% to being a full-time co-founder at Good Pillow. After many discussions with William and my friends, families, and mentors, I made a good faith decision to allow William to bring our vision to life without me. That vision remains an ethical company that produces products that people need while creating good union-paying jobs and supporting social causes at the same time. I am incredibly appreciative to those families and friends who reached out to support me, and thankful for those who followed me in this vision. Notably, I think the one big hurdle that Good Pillow is going to have to initially get over is that they actually do not own the patent for it. This is a story that was brought to us a couple months ago, if I remember correctly. March 15th, so about a month ago, where someone's actually already bought the Good Pillow patent because David and William didn't actually get on it when they said they would. Reading this article from Meow, more than a month after the pillow company's name was announced, no further updates have been shared. A few days after the name was announced, Hogg tweeted that he was taking a leave of absence from his board position with the March for Our Lives to focus on school, my passions, and my overall well-being. The gun control activist has not tweeted since. However, Legate, which is William, tweeted on February 16th regarding a scam, writing there is a fraudulent company going under the name Goodpillow who started selling fake products after we announced the name. They are not affiliated with us. If you order from them, you may be scammed. We're in the process of dealing with this legally, but wanted to make you aware. I'm actually not sure what legal pretense they will have, because as we're about to report, it was a Newsweek that reported that a search of the U.S. Patent and Trademark Office database did not reveal any new company being registered under the name Goodpillow or a variant on February 10th. It would seem that the third party has since registered the name Goodpillow, the application being filed by a North Carolina resident named Robert Holland. Notably, what we know from this story, in my opinion, is Goodpillow was really just a publicity stunt. I would be surprised if the company ever actually turns into anything remotely close to what they have said that it's going to be. And, you know, oftentimes the term grifter is thrown around when it comes to activism and people reporting news. I think what David Hogg is doing with Goodpillow and William Legate is a grift. They know 100% certainty that they will not be able to get the patent of Goodpillow since it's already been filed. So we'll see what happens from there. Coming from The Guardian, she sued for pregnancy discrimination. Now she's battling Google's army of lawyers. Chelsea Glasson alleged she has been discriminated against while pregnant and had witnessed others being treated similarly. Notably, what we get from this is one of the big things that happens at large tech companies is that they really get to do whatever they want. I know personally from working within IT, you aren't even treated the best. You know, you do have decent compensation because there's a lot of competition when it comes to the IT fields, but in general, they do not treat you well. The business does not think highly of you, and you're treated no better, in my opinion, at most IT companies than, you know, back in the days when I worked in the fast food industries. Pregnancy discrimination does not get more blatant than that, where the allegations began. Glasson's struggle began in early 2018 when she says she overheard a director at Google criticizing a pregnant employee and learned that the employee was being given negative feedback in her performance review after disclosing the pregnancy. In keeping with Google's reporting guidelines, Glassman filed a complaint with Human Resources alleging pregnancy discrimination against her colleague. Shortly after, she says the director to retaliate against her over the report, interviewing other people to replace Glassman in her role. Glasson said HR acknowledged the retaliation but refused to stop it. She asked at the company how to face her boss when the ongoing investigation was making the relationship tense and was told multiple times to find a therapist. When you are a victim and you're told to go to counseling, it is incredibly offensive. It's sending a message that you're crazy and you're making all this up, she said. Several months later, Glasson then became pregnant herself and says she decided to transfer teams to escape the ongoing retaliation and harassment, but she found her new superior make negative comments about her pregnancy-related health issues and denied her the management role she was hired into. This is really a very big ongoing thing that I think most big IT companies really need to get around to fixing. You know, a lot of times we're used to hearing the stories of blatant racism, blatant sexism, and often I think there's not enough respect coming to upcoming parents, specifically mothers that are pregnant. You know, if you're in the, you know, pro-life camp, obviously you want these mothers to respect because they're coming, you know, for, you know, they're bringing life into the world. And even if you're on the pro-choice camp, like obviously you're going to be pro-woman, pro-female, and, you know, this is just a matter of respect for women. And I would really like to see this as something that, you know, people get around to. This is definitely something that we can hold Google very accountable for. You know, they do push a lot of the political talk in today's big media scheme, and they need to be held accountable for their actions of discrimination if these stories are found to be true. Finally reported on Friday was the death of Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh, dead at 99. In a statement, Buckingham Palace said it is with deep sorrow that Her Majesty the Queen announces the death of her beloved husband, His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. The Royal Highness passed away peacefully this morning at Windsor Castle. Further announcements will be made in due course. The royal family joined with people around the world in mourning his loss. The death of the Duke comes after a period of poor health. Philip spent a month in 2 London hospitals where he was treated for an infection and underwent heart surgery before being discharged in mid-March. Philip's funeral will be held at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle in line with custom and His Royal Highness's wishes. The College of Arms, which oversees many ceremonial aspects of the royals' family work, said in a statement Friday. Obviously, the Prince and Queen in England show more of a ceremonial law, but I know there's a deep respect for the royal family, regardless of any accusations that have been recently pushed. I know that was a big story that we hit on recently, but I think there's still always going to be respect for the royal family, and obviously, those members that listen across the pond will be a little shaken from this. This is your April 12th Not So News update. Please like and subscribe if you're looking for daily news content.